Former foreign policy advisor to President George W. Bush, Paul Bonicelli, now the Director of Programs and Education for the Acton Institute. Great to have you with us. Let me,
Hi, Lou.
let me start, if I may, with just the prospect that Xi Jinping is ready to be a real partner with the president in dealing with this absurd threat on the part of North Korea that is the result, after all, of Chinese support, technology, ballistic missile technology, as well as nuclear weaponry.
Yeah, I think that we are seeing signs that the Chinese are starting to understand that Donald Trump is a different kind of president. You know, Lou, he didn't come into office as the Bushes did, as Clinton did, as Obama did, as one that was going to naturally sort of try to keep a warm relationship, keep the trading relationship go. He's been very different from that, as you know, and so it's taking the Chinese a while. But when they see what he's doing and when they hear his words, when they hear General Mattis, when they hear Nikki Haley, and then when they actually see these things happening on the ground in South Korea and what we're doing militarily, I believe he is getting the picture, because he's got to understand there will either be cooperation between the United States and China to solve this problem, or there will be a military solution that the Chinese will regret.
It is also very possible that the Chinese will, there are externalities, as they're called here, and amongst them, Chinese researchers themselves identifying the collapse of the very mountain in which the North Koreans have been testing their nuclear weapons, most recently at anywhere from 50 to 120 kiloton nuclear explosion beneath that mountain that has destabilized it. And if they do indeed carry out another test, those researchers, Chinese researchers, are the ones saying that top of that mountain may likely blow off, and the resulting radiation clouds that will be emitted will cover much of China itself.
Absolutely. We're seeing the satellite images come in, and they have to be refined, and it'll take a while to know for sure. But already they show the damage that is done. And as you said, once those mountains crater and those chemicals are released, the product of the nuclear explosion, you do get cancer spreading. You do get those kinds of problems. And not just in China. They spread around the world. No one knows. It's very hard to know exactly where they go. And the North Koreans have, Kim Jong-un has a problem. He has to keep testing in order to show that he's serious. And the more he does that, the greater risks there are. I think this is another element in causing alarm in China.
And there is the very real threat by this president that the trade will just simply not take place with China. That will tear trillions of dollars out of their economy. It will effectively destroy their banking. I don't think that most people, even economists who are aware of what the president is proposing, I don't think they've taken to heart what this would mean for the Chinese. It would be devastating. It would be an economic bomb dropped right in their midst.
Well, not only can China not tolerate, cannot absorb no trade with the United States, I don't know how much they can absorb just the threat of it. And that's one of the things I hope the president is making clear, that the threat is very real. You know, he will do it. It's not just a threat. And there's a point at which that is very destabilizing for China. You know, Xi Jinping is trying to be the next Mao Zedong. He wants absolute power, which is not really the way they've run that country since Mao. It's been this collective at the top. He wants sole power. And he's not there yet. It's going to take a little bit longer for him to get there. And so I hope President Trump is putting the kind of pressure on him that makes him think, I don't want my pageant, I don't want my coming out party upset here, and tries to find a deal. Quietly, the Chinese like to save face. That's fine. The president understands that. He is a deal maker. But you also have to have the loud sounds and the military buildup on the outside.
All of that has been done right now by this president. 3 carriers now dispatched to the region, all of them armed to the teeth. God knows how many nuclear submarines, U.S. submarines, are now in the region. The threat is clear. The response is clear. What is not clear is whether or not China will acknowledge and take responsibility for its irresponsibility over the course of the last 30 years in its management and support of North Korea and its nuclear ambitions. Paul Bonicelli, thanks for being with us. Great to have you here.